Hey, welcome guys. Starting off, I'm Blaidan. I used to run this game earlier this year, so I'm gonna be struggling to keep up against Marisa, doing a bunch of boomer strats. Let y'all introduce yourselves as well, though.
Hi, I'm Marisa. I'm also going to be doing some and white gaming for you guys. So hopefully you'll all have a good time watching.
Hello, my name is Idyll. I am going to be commentating this run. You guys are 100% in for a treat because these two are some of the greatest players in this game, so I hope you all enjoy.
Yeah. So I guess for a brief explanation of the category, so obviously we're doing a race of White's Heaven Rush, which is basically just any percent of the game, but all the cutscenes, the dialogue, and downtime and stuff, all that is cut out. It's pretty much just gas the entire way through. But if no one else has anything to add, I guess we're ready to go here.
I think that's it.
Okay.
Do you have anything you want to add, Marissa?
Yeah, I'm ready to go.
All right. So, be a countdown on stream here. Actually, you wanna sync up our start time, Marissa? We'll both click
Yeah, we can like
start
get
at
start
the
rush
same
at
time.
the same time
Yeah,
and wait for the
and
best
the
one.
countdown will happen automatically. All right, 3, 2, 1, go. All right, and we're off. So this is Neon White. This is a 3D puzzle platformer FPS. It was a super popular indie game back last year, and it really caught on. It's been super fun to run over the years, but starting off, we really just get introduced to the basic movement mechanics of the game. So you'll see that we can run around and jump, and that's really all that's it for the basic movement mechanics. Beside that, we also have soul cards, which are basically abilities that will be manually placed throughout levels. They act as guns, but they also have special abilities. So you'll see that the Purified card here, for example, shoots out a bomb. And for example, the Elevate card here has double jump. And you'll see that as a recurring mechanic throughout the game.
So one thing I want to add real quickly is what runners are be doing a lot is they are going to be shooting the enemy bullets. Shooting the enemy bullets gives them a speed boost. Each one saves roughly around 0.1 to 0.2 depending on other stuff. Another thing they're going to be doing is they're going to be shooting it and then very quickly swapping to their katana in order to get a phantom boost. A phantom boost is when you kill an enemy's bullet, and then you swap to your katana and hit it. The hitbox is left around for a little bit after the fact, so you're able to. So each phantom boost also stays roughly around 0.1 because it's a normal boost. But they're going to be doing that a lot in this round.
Yeah, there's a lot of like tiny little mechanics that'll save like a tenth of a second here and there. But that's what this game is all about. It's very segmented in nature, as you can see. It's pretty much just like level to level, back to back. And so, since people like to focus on like single ILs, you'll see a lot of micro optimizations pretty much everywhere. So it gets really intense at times.
Yes. So what the runners are going to be doing here is on the stage fast track, they're going to be jumping up the slopes for water. The fastest form of movement speed in the game is above water. Normally, the speed you're able to get when you're on water is 33. If you're above water, you're able to get roughly, I believe, up to 40 or so. So it is very useful. Another example is going to be up here on Glassport. There's going to be basically just upward slope of water that they're going to be jumping up. So, yeah.
Yeah. Pretty much anywhere where there's water, we're going to try and use that to our advantage. 'Cause that's like generally the fastest way to move around. So yeah.
So on Blaidan's stream right now, he just got out of chapter 1. This game is split into 12 chapters, but you weren't going to really see any transitions. This right here is chapter 2, and in a bit we're going to be introduced to a new card, the Godspeed. The Godspeed, it fires as a rifle, and its discard ability is it's a dash. The dash, you're able to kill enemies, or it breaks through breakable red surfaces or stuff like that. It is very you're going to see it be used a lot, and also you might see the runners jumping in the air slightly in order to preserve speed more, because you preserve more momentum whenever you are in the air in Godspeed.
Yeah. So like I said earlier, it's all about those micro optimizations, just making sure you're getting full value out of every soul card. You'll also notice that we kind of delay Godspeed cards when we discard them if we have multiple Godspeed cards, just to get the full value out of the dash.
Yeah. To add on to what, basically add on what Blaidan was saying, you don't immediately go from Godspeed speed to 0. There is a tiny bit period where where your speed just slowly starts going down to 0. And since we're in chapter 2, I feel like this will now be another good time to introduce a new mechanic called edge grinding. So whenever you're on the edge of a water, in certain situations, depending on how the water is angled, you are able to get on the edge of the water and get above water boost and constantly get it. This is very useful. Blaidan and Marisa are going to be going for that on fast lane, which Blaidan's currently on, Marissa's about to be on. This is another very important trick, and it also can be potentially pretty risky because being on the edge of the water, especially when there is a bottomless pit below you, could lead to, unfortunately, a lot of time loss.
I don't know you guys call it that nowadays. But it's a lot better than the other name.
Oh no, I know it's a lot better than the other name, but that's what we call it, marathon friendly, because I'm not sure if we're allowed to say the other name, unfortunately.
So I don't know where Marisa is, but we're almost out of chapter 2 now. This is a pretty simple chapter. It's mostly just introducing the Godspeed card, and all the levels within it are pretty simple and pretty trivial, so pretty smooth ride all the way through. This next level that I'm coming up on, though, is Guardian. This is like a really hard lineup shot that I'm gonna go for here. I'm gonna go for it once, but it's really hard to hit. We'll see if I can get it here. So I have a specific lineup that I do well backing up here. Let's see if I got it. I did get it. Nice.
Hey,
okay.
great work.
Let's go.
This chapter 3 also introduces the stomp card. This right here, left click it is an SMG, and right click is a stomp ability. You're able to basically go 4 times, I believe roughly around 3 to 4 times faster than your normal terminal velocity while stomping. Stomping also grants you the ability to break breakable walls and kill enemies whenever you stomp. And another important mechanic that runners are going to be doing is right here, they're going to be tap, firing, stomp. The way the game works with the spray patterns is the bullets follow a fixed pattern, and the pattern is the exact same for both the stomp and purify. So one thing that the runners are going to be doing is aiming slightly upright above where they want to actually aim, and they shoot it in order to get two bullets, because the first 2 bullets of the stomp and purify are always going to be slightly below left of your stomp.
Yeah. I think it would be pretty questionable to just have the first bullet come out at the center of the crosshair every time. That'd be way too easy. So I think having the 2 bullets spray at the bottom left is a nice happy medium to still have a consistency in runs.
And so right here, Blaidan is actually approaching one of the first major reset points of the run, Canals. Canals is one of the hardest stages in the run, and arguably one of the hardest stages in the first 4 chapters due to its very far sniping with Elevate, and a lot of the gaps are very tight due to weird invisible walls. And you did you did it first try. Good job.
Thank you.
Great work.
Yeah, so I guess where the game really starts to ramp up in difficulty, with levels becoming much more complex with the amounts of routes you can do.
Oh, 100%. Oh, unfortunately. This game really does scale up in difficulty and routing complexity. A lot of these stages here, it's just as simple as, hey, we have a Godspeed at the start. Can we save that so we can use it later to be faster? But once you get to the later chapters, it gets way more chaotic and hectic, and you are 100% in for a treat when we get to those.
Yeah, a lot of the later stages are upwards of 30 seconds long, and trying to flowchart the most optimal route in those levels is a very hard time. So we've seen a lot of optimizations come in the later levels in the game pretty frequently.
Yeah, by the way, also nice mountain blade, that was really smooth. Thank and also you. Nice first try Canals, Marisa. Yeah. Both runners are actually very close to each other right now, which is pretty awesome. And right here, we're going to the first boss chapter. This right here is chapter 4. Basically, we're going here in order to get some powerful weapon, but who cares about the lore? It's all about going fast. Right here, we're currently, basically, you're going to be introduced to a boss fight stage in a few stages. And on Blaidan's stream, he's about to get to another really hard stage, the Forgotten City.
Yeah,
The
notorious
Forgotten
stage,
City
for sure.
is very notorious, very hard. The snipe he just did around the building is so much harder than it looks due to the fact that Wall has a hitbox that extends slightly further to make it a little more annoying, and he just nails it first try. Absolute champion. Too easy.
Yeah, that shot has given me so much trouble when I was learning this game.
Went good for me as
I
well.
definitely made it look way easier than it actually is.
Let Marisa go. So you get it. Hey, good work. So right here, Blaidan is now on the boss fight. Marisa's about to be there soon. The way the boss fight works is Green travels through a stage, and you have to damage him while he attempts to damage you. One of the main gimmicks of this is... Aww. Nice try. But one of the main gimmicks of the Green fights are you're able to damage Green in between a majority of his phases moving. So one thing that the runners are going to be doing is during the first phase, they're trying to shoot him at least 10 times in order to be able to skip the final phase. Skipping the final phase saves roughly around 20 seconds and allows for a lot of really fast, good optimization. This is also another pretty hard stage of the run as well, due to this.
It's such a tough jump. If you get like if you
hard.
stack the purify bombs together, the explosion boost that you get from it like actually stacks on top of each other. But you also do it next to Green's model there, which you can kind of bonk on. So if you bonk that in like any way, and it's very easy to just barely miss that that jump there.
Mm-hmm. Also, Marisa is currently out of Chapter 4. Right now, she's now into Chapter 5. Chapter 5 introduces the Fireball card. Left click, it is a shotgun, and you're able to shoot bullets like a shotgun. Right click is a dash. The dash is similar in Godspeed, where it breaks stuff, but it's different because you're able to angle it in any direction. And at the end of that, you have basically the game treats you as still being on water, which allows you to also move faster as well. So one thing the runners are going to be doing whenever there's a fireball card is, if possible, they're going to try and angle the fireball card to get on ground as quickly as possible in order to try and get the water boost as well. So Chapter 5 is also another one of those really hard chapters due to a lot of the strats. And also, GG Blaidan.
Finally.
Congrats on Game Pass. GG. Yeah. So... Unfortunately, there are a lot of stages in Chapter 5 that are hard, so it's hard to go through and explain all of them. But yeah, right now, Marisa is on Boom, which is another arguably pretty well-known, notorious stage due to one of the barrel shots. The shots requires you to go through a water fountain, and the water fountain is very awkward, unfortunately. Blaidan right now is currently on Ringer, which is another really hard stage, especially depending on the strats you're doing. Marisa went for a slightly safer strat that doesn't lose as much time. Blaidan's just trying to go for the full strat, and he got it. Nice. So, yeah, Marisa's currently on steps right now. I guess now would be a good time to talk about grounded boost, because it happens in steps. Basically, in this game, there's a mechanic to boost called grounded boost, where whenever you're on the ground and reflect an enemy bullet, if you then immediately get off the ground by either jumping or walking off a ledge, you are able to keep speed longer. I think a grounded boost saves roughly around 0.1, 0.2 over a normal boost, depending on the situation. I'm not exactly sure on the exact math, unfortunately.
Yeah, once
but
again,
it's
like a tenth of a second saved.
yeah, very minor, but it adds up over the course of a 30.
Yeah, for sure.
Run. And right here, Marisa's now into Apartment, the final stage of Chapter 5. I'm not going to say much, I just want you guys to enjoy the show, because it is a beautiful stage.
Nice, nice. I think I might be spoiling you because you're delayed a bit, but that is a cool shot for sure.
And first try, way too easy. These
Oh,
y'all
nailed
are
it?
absolutely killing them. Yeah, she got a first try.
That's sick.
Yeah, and right here, Marisa is now on to Chapter 6. Chapter 6 introduces you to the tripwire demons. The tripwire demons are the purple things with the wire sticking out of them. Whenever you break it, whatever they're attached to at the end damages for 5 damage. So one thing that a lot of the stages are going to do is tripwires. So although there are like 45 demons, I believe, in handguns, you don't actually need to individually shoot every single 45 demon. You're only going to need to shoot the start of the tripwire, and it's going to, in some cases, lead to a massive chain. There is going to be a stage later in Chapter 5, which also, Chapter 6, which also like is a perfect example of that. And nice Apartment, Blaidan.
Thank you.
So yeah.
Yeah, it's nice to have these tripwires that can basically just auto-kill a bunch of the other demons in the level. Unfortunately, it's not like we can like manipulate them at all, so like we can only kill what the developers set up for us. But
Yeah.
regardless, it's still a nice mechanic to have. Saves a little bit of inputs here and there.
True. So yeah, as you can see on I already mentioned handguards, but again, I'm pretty sure I forgot to mention this, but the tripwires can also be used to break the red breakable floors and walls.
Right,
like
yeah.
the handguards and also on waterworks as well, which is what they're currently both on. Luckily, the start of Chapter 6 is not that. It's a bit more of a breather compared to the rest of the other chapters. This chapter, especially compared to the second half of this chapter, which is... I'm not sure how many people say it is, but if I recall correctly, I'm pretty sure quite a few top rush runners say that Chapter 6 is arguably their hardest chapter in the run because of a few strats coming later up.
It's like the first like boss chapter of the run, but not actually a boss chapter. It's like one of the big reset points, yeah, for sure. It's definitely more weighted toward the end of the chapter because there's a lot of hard levels at the end, but yeah.
Yeah.
We have time for a few announcements before we get into the tough stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Sure.
Okay, great. So first, I do want to let everybody here know that the intro to the run, I think might have gotten cut off in tech, just fine because my Steve Blum impression was terrible. But it does mean we do need to properly thank Scala Kitty and Happy Bear once more for their donations. They each paid in that $35 spicy tax for the previous run Haven. Scala saying, paying this Haven spicy tax towards Spark the Electric Jester, all levels. Thanks again and much love to Gabby. And Happy Bear with her $35 donation says, you and Kay got extra spicy today because they knew Gabby needed our help. Proud of you, Gabby, and good luck on the move. Please put this towards Spark the Electric Jester and the next available incentive if there is leftover. Which we have just opened the next incentive that will be for tomorrow's Cult of the Lamb run. We'll be beating Retau at Knucklebones. So if you want to see some dice get played very skillfully and fast, that is open. I think we are now at, assuming Happy Bear's overage goes there, it might be at 15 out of 250. But it could also be going to the bid war for Wolfenstein 2, the new Colossus, to choose the Fergus or Wyatt timeline for our very next run. And if so, that would make those two options tied. So I will follow up as soon as I know more on that one.
Awesome.
Sounds good. Can't wait to see. I hope those runs meet their incentives. They both sound amazing.
Yeah.
And so 2 stages ago, we got to the stage Shocker. Shocker is the stage which introduced the demon Shockers. Shockers are kind of buggy, but we aren't going to have to talk about that unless someone does an absolutely insane save. These Shockers, whenever you jump on them, you get sent flying in a direction. The green way is the intended path for the developers, but you're able to go anyway. The stage after Shocker was Bucket, or Bouquet, we call it Bucket. Bouquet is arguably another one of the hardest stages, and right now they are currently both on Trip Track, which is what we call an aim lab stage. We call it an aim lab stage due to its really hard and very intense required aiming, and both of them nailed the jump first shot. Absolutely easy. Y'all are absolutely, yeah, this strat is really hard and way harder than it looks. This is absolutely insane. Great work.
Appears I've missed a demon.
Oh no,
That's
commentator
unfortunate.
first, no.
Guys, this is
And-
a game like classics, to be fair.
We even have an emoji for getting one, for having one demon left, and we call it getting one. It's fun.
It is not fun.
Yeah, I'm trying to make it sound more positive than it actually is. But yeah,
Yep.
Marisa was just on Race, which is the stage, as I mentioned earlier, was the tripwire thing, but now Marisa is on to Chapter 7. Chapter 7, this stage is called Bubble. This introduces the Bubble Demons. The Bubble Demons are demons that you cannot kill unless you enter them or walk out. The only way you can kill them is, like I mentioned earlier, walking out or shooting bullets out of them. Unfortunately, these are kind of make or break because we're going to miss, mainly because they limit the path speedrunners are allowed to take, but we still find our creative ways around it. This right here, Marissa's currently getting into Shield. Shield is the route that she's doing is a new route recently discovered. This is another very hard one, and she is going to be Purify boosting to the Guardian Heads and attempting to Godspeed over and basically shoot the other set of 3 Guardian Heads later. And unfortunately, due to the missed shots, she's not going to be going for that, but that is completely fair. It is It is a really hard strat.
I guess I am probably doing a boomer strat here, I suppose.
You both did the quote-unquote boomer strat, I feel like. I mean,
Yeah.
it's more of the safer strat, so... Fair.
I went for the faster one, but I couldn't mix that. It's all good though.
Alright. So...
One thing we didn't mention
Here's-
about the stomp card is like when you stomp, there's like a huge like blinding effect that happens, and on that level specifically there, Overlook, it's like so painful to see where you're going because there's just like constant stomp effects just in your face.
So, yeah. Pop right here, Marisa is going to be going for the one of my favorite strategies in the game, the super duper kick flip window skip. It is a beautiful name found by Humps. Shout out Humps. Water Wizard Pop game. Oh, sorry, Steel saying by. Sorry, Seal. Sorry for Steel found shield. I forgot if I mentioned that. I forgot if I said the wrong name earlier. Sorry. But yeah, right here, this is Minefield. Minefield is a really funny stage and simultaneously very hard. So one thing you're going to be seeing the runners doing is setting their VSync on and then restarting the stage. Why do they do this? Because for some unknown reason, the game just randomly spawns you 0.4 units higher if you turn on VSync, which allows you to skip the start of Pop.
If that isn't the most speedrunner thing I've ever heard.
Yep.
Yep. This game has a lot of really funny things with VSync.
Amazing.
This right here, they got past Mimic. Mimic introduces the Mimics. They're blue chests, and whenever you shoot them, a wave of blue insta-kill bullets comes out. The great thing about these, though, is although they insta-kill you if you hit them, they insta-kill everything else they touch as well. So a lot of stages are going to introduce routing where it's just shooting the Mimics and it will kill a bunch of demons all around it. That was a good example, and Greenhouse is another one, and pretty much everything the rest of Chapter 7 is really good.
The mimics function like strikingly similar to the tripwires that we got introduced to the other chapter.
Yeah. So right here, they're in the final stage of they're in the final stage of chapter 7. There isn't really much to talk about on this stage, but next chapter is a personal favorite of mine, and is another one of the.
There is like a cool animation cancel we do at the end here. At least I go for it.
All right.
Or if you like Godspeed into the shocker at the right height, it like cancels it early, like that.
Oh,
like,
I actually never knew that. That's sick.
That's a again very minor thing, but it exists.
Peak of Neon White is just the peak of like saving like 3 frames doing minor stuff. Yep. And right here we get introduced to Benediction or Chapter 8. This right here introduces the Dominion card. The Dominion card, you left click, it's a rocket launcher. It is just a normal rocket launcher. Right click is a zip line. Basically, you're able to zip line onto any surface, and you move at speeds slightly faster than water. So a lot of strats in this chapter, spoiler warning, are basically going to be, we are going to shoot stuff really far away. We are then going to immediately go to a building and climb up it. It is... Yeah. These are really fun and also very hard. One more thing I forgot to mention earlier is explosives. No matter where in relation you are to explosives, you will always be launched up, even if the explosive is directly above you. So one thing a lot of the runners these two are going to be doing is they're going to be shooting rockets directly above them whenever they want to climb, because that means they're able to get more speed. Another thing they're currently doing as well is they're shooting the Dominion with their minions with their own bullets. You are able to do that due to some funky code involving how they handle bullets. For some reason, they're able to just shoot it and get a speed boost on it. But unfortunately, it is arguably the only piece of this game that we don't know much about, and we could argue that it probably potentially could be hardware dependent on how much you're allowed to shoot it before it goes through.
Yeah, it just like randomly explodes if you shoot it too much for some reason. I'm not really too sure why.
Yeah. I'm not 100% confident on how it works, unfortunately, but I believe it's because there's 2 hitboxes that it has, and like one of the hitboxes is the trigger hitbox, which if it touches anything, it explodes. So sometimes you could just shoot it, other times you just miss it entirely.
Right. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. This is
also right here
another aim lab stage for me.
Yes. This is Ascent. This is another one of the aim lab stages, one of two in this chapter that we consider aim labs. There is a lot of shooting you're going to have to do very far away. This is a very hard and impressive stage. Very fun one too, I am.
Yeah, Sand is like one of the cool stations in the game for sure.
Yeah, also great work on first try, both of y'all.
Thank you.
And right here, we get introduced to Straight Away and Firecracker, unfortunately. Two stages don't have much to talk about. If you guys are fine with it, I think now might be a good time for like donations or any announcements.
That'd be my pleasure. Yeah, so we did just open the Cult of the Lamb dice game incentive, beat Retau at Knucklebones. That'll be coming up tomorrow. We already met even one incentive for tomorrow to have Shovel Claws upgrade its run of Sparky Electric Gesture 3 to all levels. So thank you very much for all of that. And I do have confirmation that the rest of Happy Bear's donation went to saving Fergus in the Wolfenstein 2, the new Colossus Litless run from Anarchy coming up next, meaning that that run is currently tied. I know if you've been here the time that I have, I mentioned earlier that, you know, not every donation is intended to flip the bid war. You don't need to feel obligated to give that much, but we're currently in a situation where any donation would flip that bid war in your favor. So if you want to choose between the old salt BJ's right-hand man Fergus and the bright-eyed bushy-tailed Wyatt for choosing who lives in Wolfenstein 2, now is a perfect time to do that.
This stage is pretty cool. I like this stage.
This is
So
Shriek. This is one of Idyl's favorite stages in the game. How many
So
hours
I
do you
like
have?
this stage. In the game, we're on this stage alone.
On the stage.
130. So yeah, I played this stage a lot. Sorry for taking the attention away from the runners, but yeah, this is my stage. I really like it. It's very fun, and both runners are doing pretty good on it. So unfortunately, yeah. Right here, Marisa is going to be on Mirror, which is the final stage of Chapter 8. This is the epitome of shoot stuff from far away and then just rockets and then rocket up. There is a strat on this stage where you snipe stuff far away with the fireball, but unfortunately she missed one of the shots and had to do it back up with the rockets. But she's still able to make it up to the top. Absolutely too easy. This right here is they're now on. Marisa's now currently on Chapter 9. This right here is this chapter doesn't really introduce anything. This is basically just, it mashes everything together. Everything gets put together, and it's basically a test of how good are you at the game's mechanics, and how well are you able to put everything together to your knowledge.
Yeah.
This is a lot of people's favorite chapters. Some people don't like this chapter. It is very hit or miss. And right here, Marisa has now made it to Bolt, another one of the very infamous run killer stages. This stage, it is extremely easy to get one dot, unfortunately, because of all the clusters of demons. But she's going to do it first try. She's just too good.
Yeah, you took it right out of my mouth. This is probably like my favorite chapter of the entire game, because it's basically just like a final gauntlet before the end of the run. It's just like a culmination of all the stuff that you've learned up until this point. And all the levels are like super long too. They're like nice and like 30 seconds long. I say 30 seconds,
Yep.
but for this game, that's long, I consider.
Majority of stages in this game are under 30 seconds, and all of them but one are under a minute.
Yeah,
so
I can
that's
really
fair.
appreciate
Yeah.
this chapter because the stages are all like really hard, really unique, but really rewarding to learn. Although I must say,
Exactly.
doing a chapter in a rush is really difficult.
Yeah. Also, by the way, just want to say great work to both of y'all for getting Bolt first try. Great work. So right now, Blaidan is currently on God Streak, and they're both on Plunge right now. Plunge, there's roughly around 20 seconds of mainly just shooting stuff while falling down. That is kind of hard. It is a lot harder than it looks to be. And right here, they have 10 seconds of going very fast because fireballing ringers, you're able to get a lot of boosts because if you hit, basically the way it works is they hit a bullet on nearly every other frame. So every frame they get a new speed. They get more speed. So yeah, you are able to get a lot of speed if you fireball ringers. And there's going to be a stage coming up which exemplifies that even more. Right now, both of them are currently on Mayhem. Mayhem is the stage where, as its name suggests, the route is very chaotic because you just go around a house and you just shoot a bunch of mimics. This right here is they're on Barrage right now, which is basically just shoot stuff from far away with the Purify Bomb and run on water. Not much to really say here. But this stage, very controversial.
Barrage is just so fast paced, like there's just so much going on. Like,
yeah.
surprised you don't say that about Mayhem.
And right here is a state, one of, at least in my opinion, my favorite level in Chapter 9 and one of the coolest looking. What they're going to be doing is they're going to be constantly fireball shocking, fireball ringers. They're going to constantly be shooting that, and they're going to just, well, constantly be getting a lot of speed. One thing that the runners did is a trick called Ohio Fireball, where you fireball into a wall at a specific angle, and you're able to grab it through the wall. Shout out Ohio Fireball, banger strat name.
I was gonna say, is that what you'll call that now? I've never heard that name in my life.
That's what Steel wants it to be called, and Steel really likes whenever I mention Ohio Fireball.
That's so funny.
I gotta please the fans, you know.
Of course.
This right now they're both on Trapwire. Trapwire is basically just tripwires. They are pretty hidden. They're hidden, and also they're jumpers, and the jumpers can jump over your tripwires. Very fun, very crazy.
So you might have caught this trick back in Chapter 6, but these shockers can also be like mega launched off if you turn your frame rate down. You do like a fireball into it, and it causes it to launch you multiple times, which is a really like broken trick. We just skip like entire sections with it.
Yep. It is also unfortunately FPS dependent, so they changed their FPS down to lower. Marisa does 60, Blaidan does 75. It works fine on either, really.
Yeah, we say FPS dependent, but like the frame rates aren't that low, so it's pretty tolerable in my opinion. It's not too bad.
Yeah. It's low if you're an FPS gamer who's used to playing games at above like 60 to 75.
Yeah, you definitely feel it for sure.
Yep. And right here, they're on Fortress. Fortress is is the final stage of Chapter 9. Basically, as the name implies, you're scaling around the fortress. One thing they did earlier was they shoot some tripwires, open up the glass cage to the top. This is another very fun stage, and they're going to be doing a pretty awesome strat where they shoot the balloons in the center up top while they wait to fall down. It is very hard, but also very impressive.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite strats that I've found while running this game.
And both people did it. Both of y'all did it. Congrats.
I think everyone went kind of crazy when you found that fortress route.
Yeah.
It
what
was
I
so
found was like,
so
oh my
different to the
god,
old
this
ones.
is actually nuts.
It's such a big
We're on to, I guess we're both on Holy Ground at this point. This is what we call pretty much the calm before the storm, because this is just set up for a boss fight that's coming up right after this. We're basically just parkouring to the encounter with Green here.
Definitely one of the hard parts of the game for like pretty much any person, honestly.
Yeah, this part is rough. It is very rough, unfortunately, but it is a very spectacular fight. This could entirely make or break who wins the race, because they are both on Holy Ground, very close to each other. And good luck to the both of y'all.
Thank you.
So, at the very start, they're going to be turning on VSync in order to try and hit shots. Green here has 140 health. You can do a total of 170 damage between the basically like the latest possible acceptable kill for top level runs. So what they're going to be doing is they're going to basically just constantly keep trying to hit Greens through all of his damage phases. They're going to be trying to get close to shotgun him. They're going to be timing far away Dominion shots. They're going to be shooting elevates. This is a very chaotic stage, and they make it look like it is just the easiest stage in the game. This is absolutely insane. One thing on Marisa's stream, she is going to be coming up soon to the air shot and air swap, which is whenever she is going to be dominioning to some crystals, which she cannot break unless she discards into them. She is then going to have to time a rocket, and then also time another rocket and time your fireball shot as well in order to deal enough damage. It is very hard, and it is very easy to miss. It looks like Marisa hit one of them. Let's see how well Blaidan.
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
Nice.
I did this
save.
from a fight, but Bay got a
Nice.
decent kill position still.
Yeah,
I'll
you
take
did.
it.
Yeah, Marisa got it a bit later than the earliest, but it still is a really good and acceptable
That's
time.
unfortunate.
Oh,
I died
no.
right at the end.
What Blaidan was doing there is the death strat. The death timer abuse strat, which is what you saw in Chapter 4 as well, is one where you pause and you're able to die, and then you pause the timer slightly early to save roughly around 2 seconds each time. And right here, Marisa is on to the fastest chapter in the game. Welcome to Chapter 11. We get introduced to the Book of Life, or we call Booth. TLDR, if you see an enemy, you can immediately teleport and kill it. as soon as you teleport to it, it instantly kills it. You're able to go here, and they're entirely waived the requirements to kill all demons. So when you get a game with funny hitboxes, speedrunners with the ability to find just the craziest 1 pixel gaps to find stuff, and a lot of dedication, you get this absolute beauty of a chapter. So yeah, the maximum limits of the card is not there's a limit. It's roughly 500 units, but the only stage you really see it in is Hike, which Marisa already passed. Right here, she is currently on Switch, which is the entire stage is upside down, which is pretty cool. Right here, we're soon. Wait, here this one is access. There's just not much to say. This is just an absolute beauty of a chapter. There's just so much you can do, and you can go just so fast.
Yeah, it's so different from the game. But I can say I enjoy it myself because it's just so fast paced.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Trying to commentate any of these chapter 11 levels play by play is like the most impossible thing ever, because it's just every level's just over in like 5 seconds because we just teleport across everything.
True.
The only stage you can really do that for is Congregation against Marathon, and which, speaking of Congregation, Marisa's on right now. What she is going to be doing is she is going to be going around getting the booth card. It basically plays like a normal stage at first, but of course, as soon as you get the booth card, we immediately teleport through really tight gaps through the windows, and then immediately just end the stage very quickly after. We have 2 stages left in Chapter 11, and then we get to the final boss. But right here, this is Sequence. There's a lot of just teleport through funny walls and shooting stuff. And then right next, we get to Marathon, which is supposed to be the longest non-boss fight stage in the game. There is definitely no flaws here whatsoever. It is going perfectly as planned. We aren't supposed to be able to teleport to those ring tripwires, but we just look certain ways and hold certain keys, and you're just able to teleport through them. And which a stage which is supposed to take 1.5 minutes, people can do in under 11 seconds.
Yeah, that's supposed to be like one of the longest levels in the game, and we just completely destroyed it.
Yep. And right here, Marisa is on Absolution. Absolution is the final boss fight. Basically, it is similar to Chapter. Well, there's not really any phase skips here, unfortunately. Unlike the other fights, you have to do every single fight. The most you can do is just shoot stuff early, which she is going to be going for in the second to last phase. Right here, she is doing the conga lines, which are when there are multiple gems in a close cluster, and it's very hard to hit all of them, but she did it pretty fast. She recently got the world record on this stage, which is, I just want to say, massive props to her.
Oh, really?
It is a very hard stage to work on.
I have not heard of this. That's epic.
She got record, and she was the second ever person to get a sub 110. Absolutely insane stuff.
Congrats.
Yeah, talk about
and right here,
yep.
Sorry for interrupting, but right here she is now on the second to last phase, where she is going to basically doing the early cycle, where she attempts to kill 3 crystals and damage Green to make sure he teleports fast enough. Unfortunately, she missed one of the rockets. She's not able to do that. But if she was to do that, there is a very risky strat at the very end of the run, which is where you do basically a jump at the very end of your coyote time. And yeah. No quick kill, but GG, Marisa. Congrats on that.
Damn.
Because you mentioned quick kill. GG.
30? Yeah, definitely.
I just started the
30.
started the last level, so I'm gonna be a minute here.
Yeah, it's fine.
I guess we can see if I get the early phase killer or not.
Yeah.
It is very hard to hit though.
Death strat.
You have to hit like 3 things that advance from like a mile away.
Yeah, it is very rough.
Yeah.
I must say respect for going for the first temple death strat. I
Yeah,
have done that once
massive
ever in IELTS. So I put into perspective how hard it is.
Yeah, if you're at like a really nice setup for the death strat, that just works really nice for me. I pretty much just always go for it.
Hit one. I think you can still save this. It's hard, but you can still save it.
Damn, I missed the right crystal. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, those shots are extremely hard to hit, but massive
it's
props.
so tough how Absolution is like... It's a really fast-paced level where you're spam clicking like for almost a minute, and then you have to do like really precise snipes. Which is just the opposite of what you were doing before, pretty much.
Yeah.
It's just such a mixture
And
of like
GG,
different
35
really
minutes.
difficult strats.
Not bad.
GG.
Sorry for interrupting, Marisa. But GG, y'all both absolutely killed it. A 33-30 for Marisa and a 35-17 for Blaidan. Massive props.
I did feel like it was super close until Fair Temple, which
Yeah,
I'm
we
happy
were
about.
back and
Yeah.
forth for quite a bit there. That was a good race.
You were basically on the same stage ever since Chapter 6. It was intense.
I think if I didn't die on third
Crazy.
temple, that would have been a close ending for sure.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, just like Idol said, it basically came down to the ending.
Yeah.
And what more can you ask for in a good run of a great game with fantastic runners?
I feel like playing this game.
Any shout outs? Anything you want?
I'll just say first, playing this game in a marathon setting, it just feels like the most simple things become so much harder, and you just make
100%.
mistakes that
No
you would
doubt.
just like never think of. Which happened to me, but it
I
ended up
believe
making
it.
the race like much closer and much more exciting. So I'm happy about
Yeah.
that. And I like how we both seemed to like hit our little hard strats first try
Yeah, that was good.
as well,
Yeah,
just casually, which is
like
awesome.
that's insane.
Yeah, if anybody would like to do any shout outs, please feel free.
Shout outs to the Game White Speedrun community for being pretty awesome, very welcoming.
Very epic.
It's always been fun to be a part of.
Very awesome community. Is what I agree.
Epic Neon White Gaming. Can't put it better than that. Thank you so much to Blaidan, Marisa, and Idol for a fantastic run of Neon White, White's Heaven Rush. What an amazing time.
Thank you for having us.
No, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Oh, our pleasure.
Hope everyone enjoyed.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure they did. This was an absolute banger of a run. I'm not too sure, but isn't a 33:30 one of the fastest times ever done in a marathon setting? I can't think of any 32s done in marathons.